Hello everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 26th, 2025 at 10:54 a.m. in the morning. So, I survived another year. I survived another year. The stalking cult, they were hoping I would be dead and not get to live to see 42 years old. And I didn't think I would get to live and see 42 years old. Well, excuse me, I hate Mondays, and I hated that our birthday was on a Monday. But I'm happy and excited to be 42 because 42 is one of my favorite numbers. You know, even though 41 was one of my more least favorite numbers, and the stalkers, I mean, they were harassing me with the number 41, but right after me and my twin sister's 41st birthday, excuse me, but at that time I had not really said, oh, I don't like the number 41, but I don't know, ever since I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old, I had unwanted intrusive thoughts about the number 41 that just made me feel really stupid. You know, but I can't believe I'm 42. And I feel sad that I'm getting old or getting older. Excuse me, because we were 7 years old, and the abusive fake foster mom Adrian Felder. I can't believe I remember when she was 42 years old. And her birthday is exactly 2 weeks after ours. 14 days after ours, But the biological mom, Frances, her birthday is January 11th. And she shares the same birthday as Aaliyah's mom, the singer Aaliyah's mom, Miss Diane Houghton. And Aaliyah's birthday is 5 days after her own mom. And I think her dad's birthday was January 10th. If your birthday is the day before your own wife. But, yeah. But, yeah, I was so tired yesterday that I almost did not eat dinner. I almost didn't eat dinner. So, with the rest of the cupcakes, I gave them away. Because I couldn't eat them all. And the rest of the ice cream surely did go bad. Because I couldn't use the freezer. I'm like, wow, I didn't know until after I bought the ice cream. And I tried to get the tiny little containers of ice cream, but they didn't have them. I guess on the app they didn't, But, so, well, so I guess I'll tell y'all about the trip and everything. So I mean, like, what day was that? Saturday. I got out of the other hotel, and I didn't know what I was gonna do or where I was gonna go. And I thought I was gonna go to City Park at first, but then I saw no, I wasn't sure where I was gonna go. And then I thought I had plans to go to somewhere else or go uptown or something. Um, but when I went to Lakeside Mall for the first time since that incident, and I'm glad there wasn't much gang stalking. It wasn't heavy gang stalking. But I'm not gonna say what restaurant I ate at, but I ate at a restaurant, and the a couple of the workers there were like very very rude to me, but the server was he was like very very he gave excellent customer service and was very nice. And then there was another worker at the restaurant. She had the same last name as me, and she was excited to see me. you know um and she was trying to see if we were related or not. you know so excuse me. Yeah, she was trying to see if we were related, but she got busy with, I mean, it was very busy, a lot of people over there at the restaurant, but it was really really good. And I had asked myself, what am I gonna do for me for my birthday? Well, me and my twin sister's birthday, but on my end, on my behalf, I was wondering, well, what am I gonna do for me? You know, so all I could do is treat myself for what, a dinner, and I just treated myself to a dinner, and with the remainder of my YouTube AdSense payment money. And I still felt performance anxiety and of, fear of being judged by the stalking cult or whatever. But I had like a healthier dinner, like well, I don't want to give away the dessert, but I had a healthier dinner, you know, because I don't want the stalkers to find out where I ate at. But after that, I went to the airport. Well, when I went to Lakeside, I went to get a smoothie, and then, I got dinner. I mean, I sat for a little while, and nobody really messed with me. But I had a little bit gang stalking activity, but it wasn't that bad. And then I went to eat at the restaurant, and then I went and took the bus to the airport. Excuse me. And I'm glad that the gang stalking was kept to a minimum, and mostly everybody left me alone, but they had one of the workers that was trying to make sexual advances at me. But he was trying to get my phone number and make sexual advances at me, and I blew him off. But it didn't even cross my mind to try to report him for sexual harassment or anything like that. I don't know, I was too sleep deprived and tired, I guess. But I just sat somewhere and charged my phone and listened to my music, and I tried to get sleep but couldn't. And so then I waited around for the time to I guess it was 3 o'clock or something like that. That's when they started activating everything, everybody to prepare to fly and everything. Excuse me. And one of the workers walked up to me when I tried to get the boarding pass, and he started off nice, but then after my information got activated, that's when he instantly turned mean. And when you put your bags in that place to weigh your bags and stuff, um, or to check the size, I felt grossed out because with me in my severe OCD, I felt grossed out, um, because you know those things were very, very dirty, you know. And I had like 3 small bottles of the rubbing alcohol, and the rest of my hair gel. I had to throw all that away. Dang, I was so like, wow. So I mean, when I went to Dollar Tree earlier that day and tried to get the bottles cheaper, but the fake crusty narcissistic um lady at Dollar Tree, her name is Elaine. That was one of the ones that bullied me last year. And she tried to harass me about my bags, and I just walked straight out. I mean, at that location, the Dollar Tree, I could have got the bottles of alcohol cheaper, and it would have, And I try to use. I mean, I sprayed and sanitized my bags, and my clothes and everything, just to end up getting dirty again. And then, um, so anyway, I went to another store before going to the mall, and I went to go and get, me some more. I used as much alcohol as I needed and as I could, and then what was left over, I felt bad to have to throw them away. Because I mean, if I would have got to do the check baggage, I could have kept the bottles of alcohol. I used the rubber alcohol to sanitize and disinfect and clean everything, you know, every day with my OCD. But, so it's like, I was something else I was going to say, but it slipped my mind. But oh, okay, now I remember. So they were trying to charge me $40 to check the baggage. So then I didn't have the $40, so I had to cancel it and use it as a carry on, and throw away the bottles of alcohol. But if it would have been check baggage, I probably could have been able to bring it. But excuse me. But yeah, so excuse me. In New Orleans, early in the morning at TSA, like they were extra rude to me. Very, very rude and mean, just not nice at all. And only a couple of the workers were nice, but they I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I'm glad. Well, by me not having the real ID, because I didn't know I was. I mean, I didn't think I would ever get to fly on a plane again. With me being poor and homeless. So thank you so much to the person who bought me the plane ticket. And I, like, for the first time in exactly 19 years. Because the last time I flew on a plane was the day before me and my twin sister's birthday. I don't think it was the 23rd. The 23rd was when that incident happened with that fake crusty perp foster boy James. Excuse me, in 2006, in the fake foster family. I had an issue with them, and it was right before I was supposed to start you know my job straight out of college, and that got sabotaged, and I was forced to have to flee to New York, and I ended up homeless and ended up being forced in the mental health prison system. But back to this situation. So yeah, they were I mean, I didn't have the real ID thingy, So they just they make you take off your shoes and they make you stand up and they freaking molest you. Yeah, I said they molest you. Talking about patting your buttocks and your groin and all that. And they check my bags. I mean, they snoop through my bags or whatever. And I hate that they just put stuff back how they wanted it and put stuff in the wrong bag when certain stuff was supposed to go in one bag and then went in the other bag. And it's like my Tourette's was triggering. I tried my best to suppress it and said stuff under my breath. I don't remember what I said, but excuse me. But the guy checking my bags was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Never mind. Nothing. Just nothing." But it really felt like jail all over again, But eventually, I was cleared and able to go through everything and go towards the gates to go and fly. And I'm like, I can't believe I get to experience this again, Excuse me. So, excuse me. Early Sunday morning, we were supposed to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. And my flight was the only one that was delayed, but it was delayed slightly. It wasn't delayed big time, Excuse me, both flights were delayed. And all the other flights were on time. Excuse me. So, the first flight was like, well, they might have had a couple of perps here and there, but I didn't really have any issues the first flight. But then the second flight, I had the issue with that African lady. And I was able to get a picture of her, and there was a picture of her covering one eye with her hand, Excuse me. So she was a perp. But I forgot to say that late Saturday night at the New Orleans airport, I saw it was a black man wearing either a shirt or I think it was a shirt, a black and gold shirt with Freemason symbolism on it. Excuse me. And they had some perps that sat next to me with that fake Masonic red and sat near me at the airport with fake Masonic red and blue combination shortly before everybody was supposed to start the process with boarding and all that, getting the passes and stuff, But excuse me. So when I was on the second airplane the first day, excuse me, that African lady, she had her phone conversation like on speakerphone. And everything was just so loud. I was days of sleep deprived, and I was irritable and tired and just didn't want to hear any doggone noise, And I'm like, yeah, she probably not even assigned to sit over here, But she got defensive and got an attitude with me, with certain questions I was asking her, because I'm like, she came over by me just to make so much damn noise harassment, and me and her got into an argument, and they had two African men sitting in front of her. Excuse me, and they both asked to move and try to make it like I'm the one that was harassing. Well, I didn't talk to the guys, but she made it like I was harassing her, and actually she came with the noise harassment perping and everything. Excuse me. So, and I just, if she wasn't assigned to sit there, then I was, trying to tell her, go sit where you're supposed to sit, rather than coming by me and just, harassing me, And she asked her, and one of the younger guy asked if they can move, and she just sat in the row like right behind me, But but I don't remember word for word the dialogue, but she revealed herself as a perp. And I felt like I did not want to be in a predicament where I'm arguing with people on the plane, but I wanted to keep the peace and keep quiet and stay to myself and stay away from everybody. But yeah, she did that. She set that up on purpose. They planted her there. You know, excuse me, and she lied about what seat she was supposed to be sitting in. And so I'm glad that they just asked could they move seats, but I mean I'm glad they weren't like, oh, this lady is doing this or doing that to me or whatever. But I was trying to get her, please get the hell away from me with all that noise. When I'm tired as hell and couldn't sleep. And so since I couldn't sleep, I came up with the idea to video record, the entire flight. And I didn't think to do that the first flight. The first flight, everybody had the windows down, but the second flight, it was daytime and people had the windows up and everything, and so, excuse me, so I mean, I was kind of disappointed when I filmed the first day of flying. I was disappointed because I'm like, well, like nothing to see really. But then coming back yesterday, it was more like nighttime and everything seemed like it was beautiful, and it's like, well, I should have recorded that. Well, it was morning time, but it was dark outside, and I felt like, well, I should have recorded that. It was so pretty. I didn't even get to take any pictures. But the second flight yesterday, I experienced abuse from two different flight attendants. But I'm gonna tell y'all about that. But well, I don't want to be too detailed because I don't want the person who treated me to the by her house or whatever. I don't want to say anything that she may not approve of. Excuse me. So I'll just keep things simple. So the very moment they picked me up from the airport, and she hugged me before I even she hugged me before I was looking all around, and I got down the stairs, and she hugged me before I can even recognize her or anything like that. But I had 7-Eleven for they had like a 7-Eleven store at the Dallas airport. And I had a few items for breakfast, and of course on the plane they give you like a small pack of Biscoff cookies, and they let you have, if you want, water, Coke, or juice, or whatever soda. And yeah, so it was weird because it was like a French toast sandwich with a lot of meat, and I think it had a lot of breakfast meat, and I think they had eggs on it, and they put mayonnaise on it, and the French toast bread or whatever was kind of sweet, and I thought, well, mayonnaise on it, I'm like, this got to be gross. So I tried it and I ate it, and I was surprised how delicious it was. Who would have thought French toast sandwich with mayonnaise on it? But it was good. I'm like, what the hell, But and I got a couple other snacks, whatever, Excuse me. And so when I got by, my TI friend, I got by after they picked her, her dad, whatever, picked me up from the airport. like as soon as we got on the highway, it wasn't even less than 5 minutes of riding on the highway, and I'm being followed with one headlights already. Excuse me. And the gang stalking was extremely heavy, very heavy. Excuse me. And then by the time we were riding around in Nebraska, in Omaha, they had like a bunch of perps with one headlight, arm hanging out the window. And at one point, we were at a stoplight, and they had four perps back to back, each car back to back. All of them had their elbow out the window. Like, this shit gotta be supernatural. It can't be real, But anyway, so my friend took me to a restaurant that we never been to before. Excuse me, I'm gonna name the restaurant. It was called Cajun Crab and Pho or something like that. If you're ever in Omaha, Nebraska, and get the seafood boil there, that is like better than anything I've tasted here in New Orleans. But the server was a tad bit rude and weird, but excuse me, but the food was really, really good. But the rest of the servers, they were nice, But we enjoyed ourselves and ate good, and I'm glad that me having the I think it was called snow crab. It wasn't as difficult or impossible to eat like I thought. I'm glad it was easier than I thought, but it was still kind of a struggle and took a little time. But that was the most of any real crab I had in a long time. Like here in New Orleans, and if you go to get crab cakes, it's like that fake imitation crab meat, and it's mostly like cornmeal or something, and then a stingy amount of imitation crab meat, and then for a cheap price, But it's the most of any real crab I ever got to have. So I think the seafood boil was like $25 each, and she paid for it for me, and then the server gave me a free what's that? A free. It looked like a cheesecake. It was shaped like a cheesecake, but it was like some other. They said something about some cookie crumble cake or something like that. It was shaped like a cheesecake, but tasted like regular cake. Excuse me, and it was good. And me and my friend, we shared it. We shared the cake, and I had the snow crab with crawfish. The crawfish just didn't taste right. But she had the snow crab and shrimp, and that tasted much better, and the shrimp were jumbo. And they gave us one boiled egg and one corn on the cob and one potato, and I already had a lot of juice and sweet that day, so I just got water to drink, and she got the I forgot, was that called one of those kind of Vietnamese teas that it was it milk tea or chai tea or something like, I don't remember what kind of tea it was. I just remember it was like an orangey brown color. Excuse me. And I just got water to drink, and so after that, I needed to get like at least one bottle of the rubbing alcohol to spray and sanitize, clean, disinfect, or whatever. And I was so sleep deprived and tired, and I couldn't make up my mind. Originally, she wanted to take me to eat out a seafood boil and then go to church and go shopping, but she said that, the second flight was delayed also. And so she said, well, we didn't have time to go to church, and that we were going to miss it. So we just went to her dad's house to drop my belongings off, and then we switched vehicles, got her car, and went to go to just me and her go to the restaurant, and then we came back, and we went to Dollar General to get me a little rubbing alcohol, and then they had a homeless perp with a huge dog, and he looked like he was very, very dirty, and he looked in a way that, oh, I hope he don't give me no, you know, I wasn't sure if he had bed bugs or not, you know. Excuse me, but he was trying to get his dog to touch me, you know. Excuse me, and I don't even know if his dog had fleas or not. That might have been that. But, you know, later last night when I went to sleep, I wasn't itching at all, you know. But sometimes when I get out of the shower, sometimes I might itch slightly, you know. But anyway, I don't know if his dog had fleas or not. But he had the dog to get very close to me. I'm like, you know, I try to shoo him and the dog away. But he apologized though. But I wasn't itching at all Sunday night, you know. But Sunday afternoon after the seafood boil, like, we were trying to figure out what to do or where to go, and I said I wanted to go swimming, but then I got too tired, and I slept all evening, like all afternoon and all evening, and we had her dad cooked dinner. You know, it was like some kind of pasta and also carne asada, and we had excuse me, a little piece of cake, and they sang happy birthday and stuff. And then after that we talked for a bit, and then I went back to sleep. You know, they went to bed for bedtime, and I'm like, well, wow, if she been hit with direct energy weapons, while I had her talk to another person in the TI community on the phone, and they were hitting her in the heart with the weapons so bad. I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm like, wow. So I can't believe that they, you know, wow. So if they hitting you too with the weapons, like they were hitting her in the heart with the weapons, but not me at the moment. And then when we got off the phone, that's when all the attacks stopped. Right when I said that, now they're making my nose itch. Excuse me. And so, you know, I'm glad I was able to sleep good or whatever, you know. And they have a friendly dog named Mocha. It's a big dog, but she's nice and friendly. But, you know, with my OCD, you know, I was afraid to pet her or anything like that, you know. But then, let's see, Monday came, yesterday morning, you know, and I got up at 2 o'clock, and I asked my friend if she can, you know, warm up those 4 little miniature cheeseburgers that she offered me the night before. And so before leaving for the airport, you know, excuse me, I had the but I couldn't finish them all because we were kind of pressed for time and had to get there on time. So I ate the little miniature cheeseburgers and another. I asked her if I could have another, you know, piece of cake. She gave me another little piece of cake, and then we rode back to the airport, and then, you know, we went through of course, when I say we, I mean me and everybody else that was there, you know. Well, I'm gonna say I, you know, had to go through TSA along with everybody else, you know. My friend and her dad dropped me off, and I went through TSA, and I'm glad that, I was trying to say, you know, they were excited and much nicer, and, you know, they seemed like they loved their job and happy to be there, you know. They were enthusiastic and cheerful, except one lady, the lady that did the pat down and the molestation. She was the only one the only TSA worker that was rude to me, you know. But everybody else was much nicer. Excuse me. But after that, you know, we got through the gates, and they had this organic, natural, small little store or whatever, and I got me a few of my favorite little snacks. and I was excited to see the Justin's peanut butter cups, and I also I tried that milkiest chocolate ice cream or whatever. I like that, you know, even though it's very expensive, but I liked it. Um, and so the nobody really bothered me much the first flight. Well, oh no, that was the first flight. All right, that was the first flight. Excuse me. The flight attendants from the day before, they saw me and they were excited to see me and everything like that. And they were excited to see me and they saw me. And so I couldn't really sleep. I don't remember if I tried. No, I didn't get to listen to the music until later. And excuse me. But they had this Asian male young flight attendant that you know that condemned me about something and was rude to me and made me feel like you ruined my birthday. Excuse me. And then they had people across that were doing the same thing I did, and he didn't tell them anything. But I'm not going to go into detail because of the online stalkers and the harassment. So I can't tell in detail what he did to me, excuse me. But he was a little bit rude, narcissistic, power hungry, and bossy, and try to talk to me in a condescending way. And he was rude twice. And it just soured my whole, made me upset, the whole flight, the whole rest of the flight. Like, how do you talk to someone that way on their birthday, and you're young enough, you are young enough to be my child. I know that I'm over 20 years older than you, because you look like a damn teenager. I know you're not 25 years old. Well, I don't know what the age requirement to be a flight attendant. Well, if you are 25, then you look damn young. Excuse me. And I was upset and angry and fighting out heavy, unwanted, and intrusive thoughts and stuff, And, that rattled me up. And then, the second flight, I went and, with Dallas Fort Worth, I got me a smoothie and I ate one of my snacks. Excuse me. And I didn't really have much any issues. And then when I got on the plane or whatever, the people, it was that flight was very crowded, very packed, And it had the lady sitting next to me. It was her and her husband, I guess. And the lady was slightly rude at first, but then ended up being nicer later on. And I kept on hearing clicking noises, and I was getting frustrated, wondering who the hell is doing that, and, excuse me. And I had to hear more noise harassment, but I did not know that we were descending and about to land. And they had a young female flight attendant that I had to use the bathroom so bad that I had to cut out. I had to end the video that I was trying to video, the flight. And I asked, can I use the bathroom? And she was kind of rude, like, make it quick, something like that. I don't remember exactly. But she seemed like she was pissed that I asked. But I had to use the bathroom so bad and couldn't hold it. And it probably could have been either my body detoxing. If not that, then gang stalking, gang stalking, forced urination tactic. And I didn't know or didn't realize that we were descending. And everybody was wondering why they didn't pass out refreshments at all on that flight. But on the earlier flight, they passed out refreshments, So then, you know, I apologized to her. I said, I'm sorry. She said, oh, it's okay, no worries, or whatever, something she said. And well, I finished recording the rest of the flight after I used the bathroom. But it's like the urgency to pee was getting stronger, and it's like, no way in hell could I wait until after we get to the airport to go pee again. Excuse me. So when you use the bathroom on an airplane, it's tighter and less space than the Greyhound bus station. But I'm glad that it's much cleaner, And it seems like well, at least on American Airlines, it seems like a lot of the times the planes seem like they're much cleaner than, Greyhound buses and the Amtrak trains and stuff, And I've been riding Greyhound bus for years, and I only got to take Amtrak once in my life, and I wish I could get to take Amtrak again. And I heard that they have a Mardi Gras service that ever since I guess the train route got messed up because of Hurricane Katrina, and they finally fixed it, and so they got the train service going through Mobile, Alabama and stuff, Excuse me, but yeah, so it seemed like me and my friend, all we were able to do was, do the crawfish boil for lunch. And, I slept the rest of the afternoon or whatever, but I guess I needed that rest, And when I was flying, like the first flight, I forgot all about your ears popping, and I forgot about, the remedies for the ear popping. Oh, my ears were hurting so bad, I thought that I was gonna die. I almost cried and screamed. I have not experienced pain that intense and such, I don't know how long. And then, excuse me, I was trying to figure out some remedies. What could I do? And when I was at the Dallas airport, on Sunday, I tried to find some earplugs to buy, and I didn't have much money. And they had a lady that was Indian from India, and she got the earplugs, and I asked how much did they cost, and she said $11. Just one pair of earplugs, $11. And I said, oh, no thanks, I'm sorry, I don't have enough money. And so she got mad and angrily jerked the box out of my hand, and was like really mad. She looked like she was Indian from India or something like that. She was really upset. Excuse me. But come to find out, they had a lady that gave me a piece of gum to chew on, and that helped some. But even after getting off the plane, your ears still popping. My ears were still popping, And my hearing was weird too. But now it feels like, even this morning I woke up, my ears were popping a little bit, But yeah, so yeah, like yesterday, I bought some organic natural gum, and I chewed it. Excuse me. I tried to be as quiet as possible, with the chewing the gum, and it seemed like it helped some, but still, I try to go to sleep on the plane. I could not get sleep. But I was too tired yesterday. Um, well, so I got off. I made my way. After getting off the plane, the last plane, and coming back to New Orleans, and I made my way to the transit bus, and I think I told y'all yesterday about the perp that tried to I don't even know if he spoke English, but he was trying to set it up for what he was trying to get the bus driver to be rude to me, because he wouldn't move out my way, you know. And so I don't remember if I told y'all about, I did tell y'all about what happened yesterday or whatever, I told y'all about what happened yesterday, like for the rest of the day what happened, but so I have another excuse me, I had enough funds for another hotel night for tonight. So I just, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to be here all day and rest and have my peace and quiet. And I just want to have my peace and quiet and rest. And excuse me, this morning I had just some oatmeal, eggs, and pork sausage, and I put peanut butter in the oatmeal, and I had a little bit of milk and cranberry juice. And my key cards deactivated, so I had to get them reactivated, and I renewed another night. Excuse me, and this hotel requires deposit. So this morning I got an alert on my phone saying that there was suspicion of fraudulent activity on my bank account. And that's when it dawned on me. I forgot that because I went out of state, they feel like that raised suspicion. So I called the bank and supposedly got everything figured out, and I'm hoping that the transactions of the stuff I called myself trying to pay for, I hope they go through. Excuse me, I don't even know if they locked my card or anything like that, but I talked to the customer service at my bank, and he said everything should be all right now, and everything is in the clear. Because I didn't know until the last minute that I was going to get to fly, and I also forgot that the bank required you notify them. But it was it was just one day, and it was a Sunday, so how was I going to get to contact them, But I thought that with me flying, I thought that they were going to turn me away, and I thought I wasn't going to get to fly, but I'm glad I was able to. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm experiencing this again, and I thought I never would get to for the rest of my life, But as much as I love to travel, I had fun the first, I enjoyed the first plane ride up until, excuse me, my ears started to pop and hurt and everything. That was no fun at all. But other than that, I would love to fly, But, so I'm hoping that my with the bank, I hope that the situation gets sorted out. I hope that my financial transactions all go through and everything gets straightened out. Otherwise, I kind of feel like I don't know what to buy or what to get or whatever. But I went through all my emails and see what birthday discounts and freebies or whatever to get. And it's like I got more birthday discounts than freebies. I only got a few freebies, but the rest were like discounts. But I'll be trying to, I guess, take advantage of the discounts and freebies before the expiration dates. I didn't take advantage of everything there is, but I got me a few discounts and freebies here and there, Um, so people in New Orleans say it's the tradition to if it's your birthday, to have money pinned on you, and then more people will walk up to you and pin more money on you. But I've experienced, yesterday didn't even bother. I didn't even bother yesterday because of me being targeted and stuff. I didn't have any paper cash on me anyway. I just had that roll of quarters, but I didn't have it. I don't think I had any paper cash on me. So, um, and I'm not the type to go to bars and clubs or nothing like that. But throughout the years, if I pin money on myself, I get treated less than everybody else. Like, I have no right to celebrate on my end with me and my twin sister's birthday, but she can. And she even act like she don't allow me the right to celebrate. And I'm the older twin. So she could live it up, or if she have whatever girlfriend, she would give the girlfriends the world. But we twins and share the same birthday. I don't even get an acknowledgement. For her to ignore me all day for our birthday, or pick an argument with me for an excuse to justify not talking to me for our birthday, or if we are on good terms and it's our birthday, she would make me last priority and do whatever she wants and ignore me all day. And then I don't hear from her until damn near midnight of the next morning, and I be having panic attacks, wondering what I did or said to make her upset or not like me or whatever, And I didn't realize it was all part of the gang stalking mind game, But but it's like yesterday. It seemed like Sean just wanted to opportunistically use me yesterday. It didn't even seem like he wanted to be bothered with me, but he came up to me and approached me and hounded me down, asking me for for money for food and stuff. But any other time, the other two times he saw me and cussed me from A to Z and was threatening me with death and stuff. Threatening to kill me and stuff, and tell me that I better not come over there by him. And then yesterday, that's why I'm wondering if the gang stalking cult network, if they planted Sean, and he ignored me and, didn't wish me a happy birthday, or didn't care about me telling him it's our birthday. And then, he was hounding me down for money for food and stuff. And then I said, well, Sean, I'm homeless too, and then, he got defensive and smart ass and a little, angry or whatever. Excuse me. But why family members always trying to take advantage of me on our birthday, on me and my twin sister's birthday, and then they don't want to acknowledge or tell you happy birthday, but they got their hand out for money or hand out for something for, and it's your birthday, but they don't want to. They act like they think they're too good to wish me a happy birthday or nothing, But I was kind of upset, about my interaction with Sean yesterday. It didn't even seem like he really wanted to reconnect or whatever. It seemed like he was just wanted to have an opportunity to just use me. But the rest of the family, that's how they treat him, and that's what he learned it from. If the whole family conditioned him to think a certain way about me and feel a certain way about me, excuse me, but then they treat him like trash as well, But yeah. But it's like if he learned to treat me a certain way because that's how the rest of the family treat him, you know. But excuse me. But yeah, Because, like, it was December 15th of last year. He saw me on Canal Street, and like, early in the morning, was cussing me out and threatening me and stuff and yelling at me. And then he did the same thing in June of this year, like almost or maybe exactly or about exactly 6 months later, and then I'm wondering how did he I'm wondering, was it a total coincidence or a random chance, or did the gang stalking cult network plant him? Did they plant him? And I thought all these years that Sean was targeted as well, and I figured that he was targeted all these years, and then I think they turned him into a perp. But I have certain other, the majority of the family members have never been targeted. But abusive, narcissistic perps, But it's like what my twin sister and Sean, it seemed like as if they've been targeted throughout the years and then turned into perps and may not even realize it. But my twin sister, she know what the hell she's doing. Excuse me, but I don't think Sean knows what the hell he's doing, But I'm the only one that's targeted and had never turned into a perp. But Ramona, people like her, never been targeted, ever. But perp, oh hell yeah. And Derek has never been targeted. Mark has never been targeted. Pete has never been targeted. I don't know whether or not Belinda was targeted, but I suspect that her death was a sacrifice. And I think Wyatt's death was a sacrifice too. And some of us that were in foster care, I don't even know if to say if Wyatt was really targeted or not, but he damn sure was, probably was playing both sides. But I know what perp activity he did to me. The biological mom, Frances, it seemed like she was both targeted and perp. But I didn't realize what was going on, I was too young and uninformed at the time, Excuse me. But, yeah. But the biological dad, Arthur Grandpre, I have not heard any stories about him being affiliated with Freemasonry. And nobody ever said, that he was a Mason. But he was military. He was former military. And certain people are saying that he was the one who sold me and my twin sister to the gang stalking program. The MK Ultra. And we're twins. I'm wondering, it might make sense, because if they said that our biological brother Pete was 14 and that he had a feud with the biological mom Frances, that they were arguing, fussing or whatever, and then he told some lie about neglect or abuse or whatever. Excuse me. And that's what the talk of the family is. That Pete told some lie about neglect or abuse, and then that's why we got taken away. And then the biological mom Frances went into a deep depression. But I heard that all of us had been taken away. Like she had us in batches, and it's like all of us got taken away except Derek. Like all of us had a taste of foster care experience except Derek. So even Ramona and Belinda were supposedly in foster care at one point. And they said they were in Milwaukee in foster care, and Mark too. and they said Mark was physically abused and beat on by a foster parent in Milwaukee. And I'm like, well, they said that's how Mark learned to be abusive towards us, because they say he was horrifically abused. That he was 3 years old, and that the foster mom up there did something to him that was the reason why he permanently walks with a cripple. Why he can't even walk straight, But but yeah, so I'm wondering if they it was I didn't find out till years later that Ramona said that the SWAT team came and drew guns at the biological parents' house, to that the SWAT team came and kidnapped us, and they drew guns, and and I'm wondering, at that point, did they manipulate the biological parents into handing us over to the program, if that's how all that happened, for us to be trafficked into the foster care system. And I believe what the foster mom did to us was labor trafficking. Labor trafficking, where she used us as cleanup slaves. In the foster family, they got Masonic connections. And the Kraft family across the street, they definitely got Masonic connections. And you never see them poor or homeless or suffering or struggling. Excuse me. Foster mom had us in that cult. And a lot of times me and my twin sister question what our lives would be like if we would have never been taken away and put in foster care, But they said it was part of the MK Ultra to turn me into the target and turn my twin sister into the perp for MK Ultra experimentation. Excuse me, Where families are ruined and irreparable. It's frightening that your own biological family members don't care about you being targeted and trafficked. That they care nothing about what's gonna happen, happening to you out there. And it's a whole bunch of jealousy in the family. Extreme jealousy. But I've been at peace without the family. Like, even after dealing with Sean yesterday, I felt a certain kind of way, and I felt bad. It's just bad all over. The same kind of like bad all over again. Excuse me. You're saying, like, Sean, even if people say for him to be considered mentally handicapped or disabled or whatever, he damn sure know how to manipulate and lie. But it seemed like he really didn't want to be, even though he came and approached me, it seemed like he really didn't want to be bothered with me. He just, he just was looking for an opportunity to get him something to eat or whatever, And he's still, keeping certain family secrets and stuff, As I said, he ignored me when I asked him if Ramona still lived at the same place. But not that I was gonna go over there. But But that made me feel a certain way. But he said something about waiting on a social security check, and the bus shuttle that was a substitute for the actual St. Charles streetcar. The bus shuttle. When I got on there, the bus driver was rude. He was a perp, had one headlight out, and right before I got off the bus, there were people doing directed conversation about Social Security office, Social Security checks, and all that. I didn't get to film or record that. But well, excuse me. That was all I had to say about the trip, and also what I experienced yesterday, and well, today I might change my mind, but for now I feel like I just don't want to leave the hotel, and I don't want to leave this room, and I just want to have my peace and quiet and rest, and I trimmed my fingernails probably late Saturday night, early Saturday morning at the airport. I mean, my fingernails were breaking off. So I would like to try to trim my toenails. And me being spontaneous and random and stuff, I plan to just stay here all day, but knowing me, I might end up going out and about and maybe going to get me more birthday discounts or freebies. But if not, then I'll just stay here. And I'm when I get off here, I would like to take a nap because I'm still tired. I would like to take a nap, and I would like to take a nap, and I hope to take a shower later today, and I hope to pray and listen to the Bible, and I would like to continue working on the novel if I'm alert enough. But I'm gonna get off here because now they're trying to force urinate me. I love y'all. I'll see y'all, and thanks again for the birthday support. And I love y'all, and I'll see y'all.